The 1995 historical drama film Rob Roy depicts the 18th century Scottish clan chief Rob Roy MacGregor as he becomes engaged in a dispute with the reprobate gentleman in the Scottish Highlands. But as great as this movie is, how true to history is it? To begin with, it's only fair to say that the movie is historical fiction, aimed to entertain rather than being a documentary to educate. But nevertheless, it is based upon real historical figures and events. The main character, Rob Roy, is based on a real person, Robert Roy MacGregor, who was born in Lange, Scotland on the 7th of March 1671. At the age of 18, Rob Roy MacGregor, together with his father, joined the Jacobite Rising of 1689 to support the Stuart King James VII, whose flight from Britain had been declared by Parliament to be an abdication, following the Glorious Revolution of 1688. Although victorious at the Battle of Killiecrankie in 1689, the Jacobite leader, John Graham, 1st Viscount Dundee, was killed, deflating the rebellion. Rob Roy's father was taken to jail, where he was held on high treason charges for 2 years. MacGregor's mother, Margaret's health failed during Donald's time in prison, and by the time Donald was finally released, his wife was dead. Like in the movie, Rob Roy operated an extra-legal watch over the cattle herds of the lowland gentry in return for protection money, which was used to feed the families of his tenants and clansmen. Any cattle that were stolen from the herds under his watch were either retrieved or paid for in full. In reality, Rob Roy had business dealings with Montrose for 10 years before the loan of £1,000 went missing. He did borrow a large sum to increase his own cattle herd, but owing to the disappearance of his chief herder, who was entrusted with the money, MacGregor defaulted on his loan. As a result, he was branded an outlaw, and his wife and family were evicted from their house in Inversnaid, which was burned down. After his principal creditor, James Graham, 1st Duke of Montrose, seized his lands, MacGregor waged a private blood feud against the Duke, both raiding his cattle and robbing his rents. Another version of this series of events states that MacGregor's estates of Craigrostan and Address were forfeited for his part in the Jacobite Rising of 1715. The Duke of Montrose acquired the property in 1720 by open purchase from the Commissioners of Inquiry. Rob Roy's feud against the Duke of Montrose continued until 1722, when he was forced to surrender. Later imprisoned, he was finally pardoned in 1727. He died at the age of 63 at his house on the 28th of December 1734, after an illness brought on by old age and a bad winter. The character of Archibald Cunningham is fictional, though certainly based upon Henry Cunningham Esquire, described by Sir Walter Scott as a daring character with an affectation of delicacy of address and manners amounting to foppery, who nevertheless seized a sword and rushed on the outlaw with such unexpected fury that he fairly drove him off the field. The movie shows Cunningham raping Rob Roy's wife, but there is no historical basis that she was raped, nor bore a child from it. Also, at the end of the movie, Rob Roy duelled with Cunningham, but this never happened as the character of Cunningham is fictional. Another historical difference in the movie is that it calls James Graham the Marquess of Montrose, though he had already been elevated to the Duke of Montrose at this point in history. He was raised to the dukedom as the reward for his support for the Act of Union, whilst being Lord President of the Scottish Privy Council. To sum it up, not all events shown in the film were real. The narration covers the years from 1712 to 1722, but the uprisings of 1715 and 1719 were not depicted in the film. Rob Roy is a great movie that is well worth watching. It is not the worst historically incorrect movie, as details of Rob Roy's real life are a mix of fact and legend, and according to some historians, the film portrays Rob Roy in the most sympathetic light possible.